Hello everyone. So in this weekly series of videos, we'll see what exactly is quizzing. Okay. So it is a very common myth that quizzing is directly proportional to your general knowledge. It's not like that. Like if you hear the word quizzing, you might think that okay, so now I have to answer what is the capital of India and what is the capital of, let's say, Turkey. So it's not like that. Like your general knowledge is one aspect of quizzing. But here we are going to talk about the interesting aspect of quizzing. Okay, so quizzing is basically like you get the question, okay, of which you don't have any previous idea. Fine, then you work out the answer based on the hints given in the question. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm trying to say after you see the questions. Okay, so for the first week our theme is food, because everybody loves food. So if you know the answer, don't wait for my hints. Okay, you can straight away skip to the next question. I have provided the timestamps in the timeline below. Okay, so you can straight away skip to the next question if you know the answer, or else you can wait for my hints. Okay, so you can read the question, or else you can hear what I'm saying, because I will be providing the hints. Okay, so this is a very common dish. Okay, so the backstory of the dish goes as follows. One day, Kunti, who was the mother of all the Pandavas, okay, so she wanted to test the loyalty of Draupadi. Okay, Draupadi was the wife of the Pandavas. Fine. So one day, what she did, she gave Draupadi a very small quantity of flour, rather dough, okay, and some potato curry. Okay, and she told her to feed all of the five Pandavas in that small quantity of resources. So at that point, Draupadi invented a new dish. Okay, and after seeing that, Kunti was very pleased, and so she blessed that dish with immortality, and hence that dish is prevalent still today. Okay, so another hint would be that the standard plate of X is the dish, consists of 5 pieces, one for each Pandava. Okay, so this is a very common dish. I am sure everyone must have had this. Okay, so very popular among teenagers. Like for many of you, it might be your lifeline. Okay, so very popular. Like standard plate consists of 5 pieces. It would be a sufficient hint. You can work it out. So now I'm moving to the answer. Like if you want time, you can pause the video and think of the answer. Okay, so the hints, I have colored it in yellow. So the answer which I was looking for is none other than the Pani Puri, known by several names like Puchka, Golgappa in several parts of India. Okay, so now the next question. Okay, so this is also an interesting question. Okay, so like 99% of the population thinks that this dish is actually of Chinese origin. Okay, because of its resemblance to some other dishes, we think that this dish is actually Chinese, but actually it is Indian. So what happened is that one day a customer went to a restaurant in Mumbai and he asked the chef to prepare something that was not mentioned in the menu. Okay, so the chef simply took some chicken cubes, he covered them in corn flour, and then he tossed them in onion, garlic, etc., used some ketchup and sauces, and a new dish was born hence. Okay, so this is a very popular dish. Like I have mentioned chicken, so if you wish to eat chicken, this dish would be your first or the second preference. Okay, so very popular dish. It has its veg as well as non-vegetarian varieties, so you can work out what the dish can be. Very popular. Like it is a 2-word dish, the first word being chicken, the second word is the answer. Like it has its veg variety as well. Okay, so we think that it is Chinese, but it is actually Indian, so you can enjoy it without having to boycott it, right? So the answer is none other than the chicken Manchurian. It is actually Indian. We think that it is Chinese, right? So the third question is, like, it was very much trending on social media for the past few months. Okay, because of that reason, it is also known as the quarantine drink. Okay, so what happened is that this drink had its taste and appearance somewhat similar to a South Korean sweet. Okay, So as a result of that, this drink was named on that South Korean sweet. Okay. However, that it doesn't have any connection with that sweet. Like that sweet is not used for making this drink. Just because of its resemblance, somebody named it on this South Korean dish, and it was very much popular on social media during these lockdown days. If you are onto Instagram or some other social media platform, you would have definitely seen this. Like it was quite a lot trending. Okay, so it is also known as quarantine drink because of that. So very popular. So the answer to this question is nothing other than the dalgona coffee. Okay, so it was also known as the quarantine drink. Okay, so dalgona is the South Korean sweet. Okay, so this coffee doesn't contain dalgona, but because it looks similar to that sweet, it was named dalgona coffee. So this question, so the story goes as follows. What happened that during the Mughal days, the Mughal kings, after having their meal, they wanted to wipe off their hands. Okay, so because the meal was very oily, they wanted to wipe off their hands. So as a result of which, this dish, not dish perhaps, you can say it is a kind of edible, okay, edible commodity. So this edible thing was invented at that time. Like the Mughal rulers wanted to wipe off their hands, so this was invented. But at that time it was used for wiping off the hands, but now it is used as an edible commodity. Okay, so if you think of a word that a commodity which you can use for wiping off your hands, you can work out the answer. Like the answer is very simple. So the answer to this question is the rumali roti, like rumal handkerchief which is used for wiping off your hands. So in the Mughal days, this roti was used to wipe off their hands after their meal. Okay, so this is also an interesting question. The answer is in the question itself. So this sweet was made in Rajasthan. Okay, so one day one customer asked the owner, what is this, what the sweet was. So he simply said that yahi to kala hai, like this is the skill. And from that day onwards, this sweet came to be known as dash. So it is very easy. You might have guessed the answer. It is nothing other than the kalakand, coming from yahi to kala hai. Okay, so last question of this set. So the story is as follows. One day Mumtaz Mahal went to see her army. Okay, so she saw that the army men were undernourished. Okay, so she went to the cook and told him to prepare something using meat and rice. Okay, meat and rice would be your sufficient hint, because after you hear meat and rice, only one dish will come to your mind, and that is the answer. Okay, so she told the cook to prepare something using meat and rice. Okay, and the dish that was prepared was also whipped with saffron. Saffron has a peculiar smell. So this would also be your hint. So I think from these hints the answer would have come to your mind. It is nothing other than the chicken biryani or simply biryani. Okay, so this was all for today's set. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.